hanging out with you guys, like we've been together, 20 minutes or whatever now. As soon as I walked in, I felt something, right?
Yeah, good blokes.
And I reckon,
good looking blokes too. You nearly jacked him off straight.
Look at this cat.
Opens the door and nearly
I need
just
to
jumps
hang
on
with this
Tommy.
cat. I just want to have beers and just.
I'm like, what's wrong with my beard? He goes, oh, you're going to.
Nah, but he had two colours. You know what he's got? He's got the blended colours and all of that. I mean, he's got the whole stick and the glass and the colour. Look at that, right? Yeah, it's pro level. But like. So when I worked in corporate for a lot of years. You just, I know this sounds crazy. It sounds all zen and all that, but it's like you sense it in your skin. There's just this negativity. There's this, there's this control element, and then people get the tension, and people losing their shit over a spreadsheet that doesn't matter, right? It's like no one is saving lives, dude. At one point, I'm embarrassed to say, I worked at Kraft Food selling like processed cheese. Like that's how low my life got, if you want to know, right? And the amount of stress.
Future sounds a lot better than
processed cheese marketer salesperson, right? Dude, people would lose their shit over like, the volume of cheese in this market and the market share. Or like what? Like, and it's one day you just wake up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. and go, is this what this is?
It's got to be more to life. Yeah.
I remember the day I quit, right? I'd been working at Kraft Foods for about 5 years, and in this is 15 so years ago, to work at a consumer goods company was reputable for corporate sort of, and I'd done the rounds in all those big companies. I worked at a brewery once that was much, but he had a tap.
That'd be awesome.
We had a tap at the end of our cubicle where you could pour beers. That was rad. Yeah, that was at CUB back in the day. They had a bar, it was ridiculous food, good, all that, right?
Yeah.
And really good footy tickets, but. I remember the day I left. One day, it was a Thursday. I said, I'm done. Right, and I went into the guy. I said, I'm leaving here. This is my thing. He said, you got to give 4 weeks notice because that's in your policy or something like that, right? And I said, yeah, Monday will come and I won't be here. And he said, you have to turn up. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't send me to jail for that one. So
definitely.
Good luck with all the cheese and stuff. And I was out.
Wow.
I hope you have a good day,
It was one of the great moments in my life, a non-financial moment. In fact, the opposite, right? There was just something so liberating.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
100%.
Back to back to people changing it up and being able to work remotely and things like that. I have friends that do that. I've got friends in the sky, like I skydive, so I've got friends that'll be doing
crazy. You get out of Bowen Heads there.
You just got 20%
I jump at
cooler
Torquay
again,
and Bowen Heads.
Mate, the cool levels are just going up. I hope you make a comeback. If this is a footy match, you're 8 goals behind right now. He's like,
hey, where are you? You're not even on the field.
It's actually his podcast.
No, you do have a bit of Bruce McAvaney about you.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well played. No, that's fantastic. Bruce is
No,
great.
he came in and started commentating the F1 Grand Prix as soon as he sat down.
That's fantastic.
But sorry, where were we?
No, so I've got a lot of friends that do that. In between skydives, they'll be on super important business calls, and it's like before they did that, they were doing the cubicle lifestyle, and I knew them when they were doing that, and they were totally unhappy. Now I've got friends that have changed their whole life and actually will go into it. I have a friend that took a job, and it was the standard job in the cubicle job, and he is really good at his job, and after about 3 weeks in there, he went into them and approached them and said, all right, I'm going to do this much work. I've already done this much, but I want this amount of time off, and I'm going to do work from here, here, and here. Laid it out to them, and they all just went, yeah, fine, fantastic. And he's been happy ever since.
I love that.
That's
And
great.
So happy. But he's a real go-getter. It's my friend Simon Colmer. Shout out to Simon Colmer. He's an
Simo,
absolute
hashtag
lord.
Simo.
Absolute lord.
You know what, though? I don't think enough people have enough courage to do that,
he
right? Because
does.
we're actually taught not to be courageous,
Definitely.
right? Because, you make a mistake, it's red pen. Whatever you do, these are the rules, follow it, rote learn it. And courage to do the stuff. And I wish I don't have it in a lot of areas. In some areas I found it.
Yeah.
But just to have the courage to say, no, that doesn't suit me, this is what I want. And then if it doesn't, leave. Like, the one thing about courage is you've got to be prepared to walk away, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You've got to be prepared to walk away. And I don't reckon unless you're prepared to walk away from something, you'll never actually have the courage to really go, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be prepared to walk away. And that takes a bit of courage. And the number one reason I think most people don't have the courage is that we build around us a financial infrastructure that has to be served.
100%. Job security.
Yeah.
Job security, but it's not job security.
No, but
it's stuffed security because I've
Yes.
got the TV and
No,
I've
but
got
you need
the
the job
Foxtel
security
thing and
because
I've got my
shit.
phone monthly
Yeah.
subscription and I've got the rent and I've got the whatever.
100%.
People need to learn the number one skill, I reckon, before you can find that and have that courage, because not everyone's earning the big coin or is the greatest at what they do. Often we do a pretty okay job because, not many jobs are, it's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But if we can de-gear our lives, de-gearing, the idea of gearing, like where you gear an investment. Gearing, it's the idea of you go into debt so that something grows in value.
Yeah.
Well, what we do
Like
is
negative gearing, positive gearing.
Yeah, negative gearing, positive gearing. But what we do is if we earn this much, about that much of it is geared. So subscriptions, cost, electricity, rent, whatever, and car, all of that stuff. If you can walk away and not have any expenses and live really skinny, if you can do that, then you have a chance at pushing for the lifestyle you really want. But if you can't de-gear your life, you can never do it. You're just on that treadmill. And there's one great hack to do it. Imagine if you could save 50% of what you earned. Do you reckon that's possible? 50%. Let's say you're earning $100 a week. Could you live on 50? Or you're earning $1,000 a week. Could you live on 500? Could you? It might be hard, but this is a really interesting question, because I tell you what, if you can do that for 1 year, at the end of that year, you've got a year to try and find the real thing you want to do that'll make you happy and replace that income.
Yeah.
If you can live on 50% of what you earn, you only have to work 1 year into, and every year off, you could try something new that you always want to try. I mean, it's an interesting idea,
Definitely.
isn't it? It's a really interesting idea.
You can actually do it too.
That's what I did. That's how I got out.
Yeah, because there's a level that we get to where we'll always, so if we earn X amount, we have X amount in the bank, we're always just going to have enough money to cover our bills, just going to have enough money to keep our bill. I always think when I was getting Adventure Fit off the ground, my company, I was always like, how do I always just sneak through when I'm going through these tough periods? And it's because you basically spend what you have.
You do.
And you always fall
happen.
into that last little, you get through that last little squeeze past that last little section, and you're like, fuck, I've done it again. But it's because that's why that book, Profit First, it's a business book, and it talks about paying yourself first.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's in here too. The idea of, it's like that goes there. That money does not even exist.
Yeah.
When I earn, I've always done that.
And then you just deal with the money that you've got, because you've already paid yourself, you've kept the business, you've paid yourself, you've put money towards the business, and then you do exactly the same thing with the money that you've got, and you end up in the same position. You'll probably be tight, squeeze it through that last little door, whatever, but you haven't built the more infrastructure around you, business-wise, personal-wise.
And cost of living.
Yep.
We all fall into the pay rise trap. Because, when you first, work, you earn a bit, you think, I'll buy that shirt, Van Houston, it's $30, it's fine. Then the next thing you know, you're buying an Oxford shirt, and then after that, and then it's Ralph Paul, and then it's a Boss Hugo Boss. It's so, it sneaks up on people.
Yeah.
You're just happy to get your first car that drives because you don't have to ride your bike. You're just so stoked to have a car. And you go, this car's not really good enough. I need to upgrade and all that. And
you see someone driving something a little bit better and you're like, kind of nice over there.
My car's 10 years old. My car's embarrassing old.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's like, no way, man. I'd rather put that money into, sort of an insurance policy for my future than I don't have to drive around my ego.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that future, this book here, one of the things I wanted to do was, there's the future of the technology, but what's the future of you? What is the future of you? People don't plan their futures. We're all futurists, right? We were talking, we're all futurists. We're looking at what are the tools, what are the changes, what's happening in society, where do I fit in, how can I create value? That's what we're all doing. So we're all doing it to some sort of scale. What I do is more like an industrial businessy scale and just sell that skill. But we're all futurists and we need to, just manage our own future. And one of the core disciplines is you got to spend less than you earn. That's the formula for happiness. Spend less than you earn. That's the formula for happiness.
Yeah.
Financial stress and pressure. And the government wants you to spend money. I've never seen an ad ever that says, save your money. I've never seen one.
The whole, our society wants you to spend money.
Of course they do.
Look around. It's disgusting. Look around. Go out that window there and look at the city.
It's
just all advertising all day, every second of the day.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's junk values. But it's where we are right now, so we
the consumer lifestyle is consuming us.
Yeah, that's right. But obviously the more people that have these conversations, someday it might.
It's the
might
Tyler
change.
Durden from Fight Club. The things you own end up owning you. But
Yeah.
do whatever
Yeah.
you please, man. That's
Yeah,
what
That was a
True.
different American accent too. He's got
Yeah.
more. He's got
Yeah.
more in the repertoire.
Oh, that
actually.
was my Tyler. That was my
That's a
Tyler. I
good
spat then.
Tyler.
I spat just like that. Sorry.
didn't say-
If that was me
You just wanna
germified,
rub
I'd
his
leave
arm,
the
I
room.
missed it.
Oh,
You just wanna rub his
yeah. No, I didn't want to rub his up.
Oh, sorry.
So sorry, I spat on your face.
Oh shit.